You're getting close to 65, or maybe you've already passed it. If so, you need to hear a truth almost no one in America has the courage to say out loud. The most reliable support you will have in old age will not come from your family, not from your children, not from your friends, and definitely not from society. Your most reliable support will come from 5 pillars that only you can build for yourself. I know this may sound harsh, maybe even cruel, but as Confucius taught more than 2,500 years ago, the truth that frees is rarely the truth that comforts. And today, I'm going to show you the 5 silent, powerful pillars that will become the foundation for an old age filled with dignity, independence, and inner peace. Before we start, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, because what you'll learn today may determine whether you age with autonomy and pride or with frustration and dependence. Let's get right to the point. I'm not saying your family doesn't love you. I'm not saying your friends don't care. What I am saying is something deeper and far more important. In old age, you cannot depend on them as your primary support system. And here's why. Your children have their own jobs, marriages, kids, bills, crises, and responsibilities. Your friends are aging right alongside you, facing their own limitations. And modern American society? It is not designed to honor, value, or care for the elderly the way it should. Confucius taught, "He who builds his home on the land of others will always live in uncertainty." And that's exactly what happens when you rely on others for your well-being in old age. So, what are the 5 pillars you can control? The 5 things no one can take from you. Let's go through them one by one. Pillar 1. Physical mobility, your greatest asset after 65. Let me ask you a brutally honest question. What happens when you can no longer move on your own? When climbing stairs becomes impossible? When walking to the bathroom becomes an ordeal? You become dependent. And dependence is the greatest theft of dignity that exists. Confucius said, "Freedom begins at the feet." He who can move is still master of his destiny. Let me tell you about Mr. Thompson, a 78-year-old man from Ohio. His whole life he avoided exercise. "I'm too busy. I'll start when I retire. I'm too tired." The classic excuses. At 70, when he finally retired, his body was already paying the price. Destroyed knees, damaged spine, poor balance. He wanted to travel. He wanted to explore. He wanted to be active, but his body simply said no. Mr. Thompson became a prisoner of his own immobility. He relied on his daughter to get groceries. He needed his wife to help him dress. He depended on others for the basics of dignity. Now compare him to Mr. Reynolds, age 76. Since his 50s, he walked 30 to 40 minutes every day. He stretched in the mornings. He kept his body moving even on days he didn't feel like it. At 76, he climbs stairs, travels alone, drives, handles everything himself. He is beholden to no one. Mobility gives him freedom, and freedom is dignity. Physical mobility after 65 isn't about running marathons. It's about being able to go to the bathroom by yourself, get out of bed without help, make your own choices because your body still obeys you. Confucius taught, "Treat the body as the temple that will house you until the end. If the temple collapses, you're left without shelter. Your body is the only home guaranteed until your last day." If you've neglected this pillar, comment below. I will take care of my mobility. It's never too late to start, but the earlier the better. Pillar 2. Financial simplicity. freedom through moderation. Here's a truth American consumer culture does not want you to know. The less you need, the richer you are. After 65, when your earning power decreases, your greatest financial security comes not from having more, but from needing less. Confucius observed, "The rich man is the one who, even with little, desires no more. The poor man is the one who, even with much, always wants more." Let me tell you about two retirees. Mr. Harris retired with a good pension and decent savings, but he was used to a high-cost lifestyle. Big house, high-maintenance expenses, 2 expensive cars, premium insurance, fancy restaurants, luxury vacations. By 72, he was stressed about money. His savings were disappearing faster than expected. He felt trapped by the lifestyle he created. He couldn't downgrade without feeling like he was losing status. He eventually had to lean on his children financially, creating resentment on both sides. Now, compare him to Mr. Walker, who simplified his life intentionally at 60. He sold his large home and moved into a smaller, paid-off condo. He downsized to one economical car. He learned to cook simple meals. He embraced low-cost joys, reading, parks, long walks, hosting friends at home. At 75, he lived peacefully. His few expenses were easily covered by his retirement income. He didn't rely on anyone. He wasn't stressed. He wasn't anxious about bills. And here's the beautiful paradox. Mr. Walker, who had less, felt richer than Mr. Harris, who had more but needed more. Confucius taught, simplicity is the highest sophistication, and in old age, the highest security. When you need little, you are free. When you need much, you are a prisoner. Financial simplicity after 65 isn't about deprivation. It's about intentionality. It's about choosing enough instead of constantly chasing more. It's about freedom over status, peace over prestige. And it liberates you not just financially, but emotionally. Pillar 3. A health routine, your shield against vulnerability. After 65, your most valuable asset is not your house, car, or bank account. It is your health. Because without health, everything else becomes irrelevant. Confucius said, "Health is the crown on the head of the well man that only the sick can see." Let me be brutally honest. After 65, your body does not give second chances easily. That cigarette, that sedentary lifestyle, that poor diet, that lack of checkups, all of it will demand payment and fast. I knew Mr. Coleman, age 70. He neglected his health his entire adult life, smoked, drank heavily, ate poorly, skipped all preventive care. "I'm fine," he said. "Good genetics runs in my family." At 68, the bill arrived. Type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, early cardiac issues. Suddenly, he needed multiple medications, frequent doctor visits, strict diets, constant worry. His independence evaporated. Now, compare him to Mr. Davis, 73, who kept a simple but consistent routine since his 50s. Daily 30-minute walks, balanced diet, annual checkups, plenty of sleep, hydration. At 75, he lived peacefully. His few expenses were easily covered by his retirement income. He didn't rely on anyone. He wasn't stressed. He wasn't anxious about bills. And here's the beautiful paradox. Mr. Davis, who had less, felt richer than Mr. Coleman, who had more but needed more. Confucius taught, preventing is far wiser than curing. The fool waits for illness before seeking the doctor. Health is freedom. Health is dignity. And after 65, health requires intentional daily effort.
Pillar 4. Emotional resilience, your inner fortress. You can have mobility, financial simplicity, and good health. But without emotional resilience, you're still vulnerable. Confucius said, "The strong man is not the one who never falls, but the one who rises each time he falls." After 65, you will fall, physically and emotionally. You will lose people. Friends will pass away. Your spouse may pass away. You will face limitations, illnesses, loneliness, unexpected transitions. The question is not if. It is, do you have the emotional resilience to stand back up? Let me tell you about two widowers. Mr. Allen lost his wife for 45 years at age 68. His entire identity was tied to her. When she passed, he collapsed emotionally, stopped caring for himself, withdrew from others, fell into deep depression. He became emotionally dependent on his children, who felt helpless. He existed, but did not live. Then there is Mr. Brooks, who lost his wife at 70, after 42 years of marriage. He grieved deeply, he suffered intensely, but he had resilience cultivated over a lifetime. He sought support groups, he maintained routines, he rediscovered hobbies, he volunteered, he rebuilt his life, not forgetting the past, but not becoming imprisoned by it. At 74, he had a new life, with purpose and genuine joy. The difference: emotional resilience. The ability to process pain without being destroyed by it. Confucius taught, "We cannot stop the birds of sorrow from flying overhead, but we can stop them from making nests in our hair." Emotional resilience allows you to face life without collapsing into dependence. Pillar 5. Your personal code of values, your unshakable compass. This last pillar is the deepest. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what gives your life meaning, independent of others' approval. Confucius taught, "The man without firm principles is like a boat without an anchor, driven by every wind of opinion." After 65, you will face pressure. Children telling you what's best for you. Doctors talking down to you. A society that assumes aging equals incompetence. If you lack a clear internal code, you'll bend to every opinion, lose autonomy, and slowly stop living your own life. Let me tell you about Mr. Green, 81. His children insisted he move into assisted living for his safety. But Mr. Green had absolute clarity about his values: independence, autonomy, remaining in his own home as long as possible. He wasn't rude, he wasn't stubborn, he was firm. "I appreciate your concern, but as long as I can care for myself, I choose to stay in my home." His children tried guilt, pressure, persuasion, but he stayed true to his values. At 84, he still lives independently on his terms. Now compare him to Mrs. Collins, 78. Without clear values, she gave in to every suggestion, moved when her children insisted, stopped driving when they pressured her, gave up activities she loved because they thought they were unsafe. By 80, she no longer lived her own life. She lived theirs. Her resentment was visible. Confucius taught, "To know yourself is the beginning of wisdom. To defend yourself is the beginning of dignity." Having clear values protects you. It defines what is non-negotiable. Now let me ask you the most important question. Are you building these pillars today, or are you waiting for others to hold you up when you can no longer stand? Because here is the final truth Confucius leaves us. Preparation is done in youth and maturity. Harvest comes in old age. He who did not plant has no right to complain of having no fruit. If you're 50, 60, or even 70, there is still time, but the time is now. Build your mobility today. Simplify your finances today. Start your health routine today. Develop emotional resilience today. Clarify your personal values today. At 80, you will never regret having been disciplined. You will only regret not having started sooner. Confucius reminds us, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. If this video opened your eyes, leave a like and share it with someone who needs this message. And in the comments tell me, which of these 5 pillars do you most need to strengthen? Remember, the best way not to become a burden to your family is to ensure you can take care of yourself. The best way to age with dignity is to build the pillars of dignity while you still have strength. Thank you for watching, and start today, because your future independence depends on it.